This house will soon be a home to a family in desperate need of shelter. It's one of 353 housing units provided by the government of the People's Republic of China. In this week's show, State of Affairs gives you the state of housing in Grenada. Since the passage of Hurricane Ivan in 2004, the Grenada government has been on a drive to ensure displaced persons receive some form of housing assistance. Ivan destroyed over 90% of the country's housing stock, leaving many families without shelter. The previous Keith Mitchell administration had started to tackle housing in a post-Ivan era. Now the administration has returned to find that the business of sorting out the country's housing woes is not yet finished. Key to getting Grenada back on its feet after the passage of Hurricane Ivan was the tremendous outpouring of support from friendly governments and organizations. La Colombe Housing Project was constructed by the Venezuelan government and families have since moved in. The Chinese government has come through for citizens, constructing 353 housing units, 180 in Mount Gay, 153 in Soubise, and 20 in Frequenty. The houses have been handed over to the government and are now ready for distribution.
There's a committee that is already looking at the application to ensure that the most needy persons get the houses. We must appreciate and understand that those houses were given to us by the Chinese government and it is for those most vulnerable persons. And while we are not selling the houses, we are asking them to make some contribution for administrative and maintenance and also insurance. So it would be small amount over a period of time so that we can give them the units and help them to take care of the units during their tenure.
We have a plethora of applicants spanning for over 7 years, and we only have a little bit there. There are about 350 houses to distribute. So the reality is everybody would not get a house. There are criteria that the committee would look at in making a determination as to how the houses are distributed. However, the intention of the government of Grenada is to have a second phase and to continue to increase the housing stock so that we can serve as many persons as possible.
I think that is very good. I mean, the Chinese, well, they are godsend people. I don't think we expect, or we can expect more than from the Chinese. They are doing the best, and they have been a pillar of strength to we the people of Grenada and the government as a whole. They have been giving us tremendous support. I don't think we can ask for more from the Chinese.
The Housing Authority is working closely with government to build Grenada's housing stock by ensuring the people have access to affordable housing. Recently, government launched a $2 million soft loan scheme that's being administered by the authority. It's another avenue available for people to ensure comfortable living.
The Housing Authority is administering the loan scheme. It is up to $30,000, so you can either build a new building, you can refurbish, you can do an extension to your homes. Salary deduction, we say, is compulsory unless you have somebody who can either do it for you or provide a guarantee in case you didn't pay, so they can pay it. You should have the lands as guarantee as well. If you do not have lands and you have a lease, then we want a lease agreement which should be 10 years and over.
Meet Crystalina John, a single mother of 4 who benefited from one of the housing units in La Colombe, St. David. Ms. John says without this assistance, she and her children would not have been able to have a roof over their heads.
I used to live at Bylands in St. Andrew, and I had owned my first house then. Well, I ended up living down in the housing scheme here because my first home got destroyed by fire back in 2009. I had 3 children at the time. Well, one was a baby, and I really went to the government then, explained the situation to them, and they decided that they would give me one of the houses in here.
Throughout the entire length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, that is a major problem. You know, people have great need for housing, whether it's repair or whole house. You know, there's a dire need for that. In fact, when I go out in my constituency to do my house to house, two things that the people speak about: jobs and housing. And when I visit some of the houses, I mean, most of them are terrible, you know, very, very terrible.
Government must realize that we have to do a lot more as it relates to housing to assist our people. And therefore, the 2015 budget will speak to that. It will speak to what we intend to do in 2015 to assist, not only as it relates to house repair, but extend the housing loan. You know, we have a housing loan this year with $2 million that should be spent by the end of December. But next year, please God, we were looking to intensify that to ensure that more persons are able to own their homes.
Looking ahead, government has already begun putting plans in motion to address the housing needs of citizens. During the recent throne speech delivered by Governor General Dame Cecile La Grenade, it was announced that the soft loan scheme will be increased and the house repair program will be expanded. Major focus will also be placed on commencing Phase 2 of the People's Republic of China housing units.
There are 5 sites that were identified: the Villa in St. Patrick's, Current, St. David's, Boucheju, St. George's, Diamond St. Max, and Dumfries in Carriacou. Those 5 sites, we have done the topographical maps, sent to the Chinese. Later on this year, we expect a delegation from China coming to look at the sites and start the process for that second phase of houses.
We have already agreed that working on an extra five extra pieces of land to see how many other houses that we can build, we can construct for the Grenadian people. And now we have already received informations about those land, and then we already send it back to Beijing for the people to take consideration. And I believe a feasibility study group will be here by the end of this year, and that means we have already worked on the next phase.
It's a Herculean task to fully address Grenada's housing problem, but the government does not seem as if it's about to back down. It has vowed to do the best it can with limited resources available.
In collaboration with the authority, we are making every effort to ensure that we try and alleviate that. So the 350 houses that we have would in some way assist significantly, I believe. The $2 million, well, initially for the soft loan would assist because it's primarily for building small houses and for doing extensions and additions and so on. So it's not easy, but I can say that I'm seeing a light at the end of the tunnel.
I must say that I really appreciate it and thank God that, you know, I now have a home. It feels a lot more comfortable because where I was then, I didn't really own an inside bathroom and toilet, and that would have taken me perhaps years to really get that done. So having this home, it's a lot more comfortable for me and the children. You know, at least, you know, I'm able to put in just the little facilities that I need as, you know, the basics still. It's just a nice, comfy little home. And I would say life is better. You know, I mean, I could see that my children feel a bit more relaxed, you know, now they could free up. And so it's just the only thing that we needed, a little more space for planting a little garden. But still, I appreciate what we have.
Abigail McIntyre for State of Affairs.